Please don't do it. There we go. Just wait till you get upper 50s and up, well, anything above 40, everything starts
I was
hurting.
gonna say he's not out of his 20s yet, so give yourself some years there.
Well, no, I can, I'm waiting with bated breath.
Enjoy yourself.
Is it still behind this window? Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go log in downstairs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, we are live.
Good afternoon, everyone. The hour-
Afternoon.
The hour being 5:30, I will now call the Public Works and Service Committee meeting to order for April 12th, 2022. Mr. Pritzlaff, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. We have Alder Jones,
Present.
Alder McCarthy,
Present.
Alder Santiago,
Present.
Alder Lemke. Alder Lemke is not here, and Alder Rouse.
Present.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes from March 8th, 2022.
Move to approve the minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been motion and second to approve the minutes of March 8th, 2022. Any questions, corrections? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposes? Alder Limkey has arrived. The motion passes.
Got it.
Our first item is 0222. Communications from President of Fourth Fest of Greater Racine, Inc., requesting permission to use the city right of way for the 4th of July parade on July 4th, 2022. Staff recommendation that the request for the Fourth Fest of Greater Racine be approved, closing certain city streets on Monday, July 4th, 2022, from 7 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. to hold the 2022 Independence Day Parade. Further recommends that in the interest of public safety, the Commissioner of Public Works, City Engineer, and Chief of Police be authorized and directed to close the following streets as listed. I won't read them all. Further recommends that the Commissioner of Public Works, City Engineer, and City of Police provide limited assistance in the interest of public safety to implement this event. Fiscal note, since the city is a co-sponsor of this event, there are no stipulations. I believe, Mr. Pritzlaff, are you taking this one?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have Wendy Spencer from Fourth West joining us today. Ms. Spencer, would you care to speak on the item? You're muted. You are muted.
There, now you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm really bad with computers, I apologize. Now, what did you ask me? Everything is pretty much the same as always. Any questions from you guys about what we're doing? Nope.
Not if it's the same as always.
No, it's gonna be bigger and better, because it's been a little slow the last few years. So we plan on pulling it off as always, shutting down the streets at 7 in the morning, clears us to make sure we're able to get down the street. And hopefully the last street is open by 12:30 without a problem.
Any? Mr. Pritzlaff?
I would say from a staff perspective, we're co-sponsoring the event. And the stipulations are as they are in the attachments. We hope it's a successful Independence Day parade.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mrs. Spencer. Any questions from committee members? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve?
Second.
Thank you so much.
You are
You're
welcome. It's been motion and second to approve item 0222 for the Fourth Fest Parade on July 4th, 2022. Seeing no further question, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. The
Thank
next. Oh, the next item is 020122, communications from the Racine Area Veterans, Inc., requesting to use city right-of-way for the Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 30, 2022. Staff recommends that the request be approved, closing certain city streets on Monday, May 30th, 2022, between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. for the Memorial Day Parade. Further recommends that in the interest of public safety, the Commissioner of Public Works, City Engineer, and Chief of Police be authorized and directed to close the following streets: Wright Avenue to West Boulevard, crossing Washington Avenue, West Boulevard to Osborne Boulevard to Graceland Cemetery. Fiscal note, since the city is a co-sponsor of this event, there are no stipulations. Mr. Prisloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gorbity is not here to discuss this from the Racine Area Veterans, Inc., but staff has no problems with this. The routes is as shown on the map, basically Washington Avenue up on West Boulevard to Graceland Cemetery. We look forward to having, us co-sponsoring this and having a great event for the veterans of the area here. So no problems with this whatsoever.
Thank you. Any questions from staff? From committee members? If not, then I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve item 020122. If there are no questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposes? The motion passes. Our next item is 0216-22. Communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the city administrator, submitting a professional service agreement between the city of Racine and the Concord Group in the not to exceed amount of $70,000 for services in developing building complex capital improvement programming and for providing facilities consolidation/retirement strategies. Staff recommend that the Public Works and Service Committee approve professional service agreement and direct the mayor and the city clerk to sign the agreement between the city of Racine and the Concord Group for services in developing building complex capital improvement programming and for providing facilities consolidation retirement strategies. Physical note, funding is available in Ort Object 45040-57110 DPW campus relocation. Mr. Prisloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have City Administrator Bornholt to speak on this item. We also have Jim Jenk. He is a representative of the Concord Group. Should have any specific questions need to be directed that way. So City Administrator Bornholt.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Chair and members. Good evening. So this, if you'll recall, in 2021, DPW and the city did a facility condition assessment of all the assets the city has. So the 80 some buildings and those thousands of assets within them, and ranked and then produced a report that ranked them on their condition of future maintenance, operations, and condition report. This is really the next phase, why we entered into doing that first assessment. to help supplement and make a more strategic capital improvement plan to instruct us on the age and condition of our buildings. So specifically, the next phase will really drill down and evaluate the future building operation and maintenance needs to update our CIP strategy going forward. This will also include a more strategic look at do we need 80 buildings? Are there some buildings that should be retired rather than invested in anymore? Are there maintenance costs that on certain items of operation or maintenance that we shouldn't further invest in, and we should look at again, consolidation or retirement of assets, and possibly consolidation that would minimize more maintenance and operations going forward. So it's really a strategic move forward. This will evaluate, again, all the buildings in a deeper level, looking at those operations to where they might fit, where they could be relocated, whether or not they're in an existing building that we should continue to invest in, and or you're better off retiring that building and looking for relocating that operation. You may ask, why is the city administrator heading up a facility plan? And I just want to credit Commissioner Rooney, who came to me and said, this is going to involve a lot of policy, a lot of strategic decisions that involve so many policymakers and departments that I think it might be better led under the city administrator's office. And I completely agreed with him, and I'm happy to take on the project. So happy to answer any easy questions. And obviously we have the consultant here for hard questions.
Did you want Mr. Jenks to speak next, or?
I would just say, we got.
Right.
Yeah. So
All right, then we'll go to those. Alder McCarthy has his hand raised for a question. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not sure if this is for Paul or for the consultant at this point, but are we taking into account as part of this the actual day-to-day operations of the city? For example, should two departments be co-located, or two branches of a department be co-located, or is this purely around facility structure and those kind of things, as opposed to the operations of the city ongoing afterwards?
Excellent question, Alder McCarthy. This phase is to actually involve the operations of the city and where they might be co-located if they're in a facility that doesn't make sense to invest in anymore. So in part of this deliverable, and I attached the memo and in the AVM, part of Concord's process will be to conduct a couple workshops that will involve all our departments to brainstorm and say, hey, I work with this department, or I work with this division, and it'd really be great, be a lot more efficient if we were co-located or we had less distance to travel. And so that is exactly the part of this study, this next phase, that will look at that.
Okay, if I may follow on, Madam Chair.
Proceed.
Is there any intention where possible to, I guess I'd say, spread this out through the city, or is that to be determined at this point here? Then, as looking at more of a consolidated campus location, more of a spread things out through the city, both for I guess I'd say some enhancements to different parts of the city, as well as operational possibilities. Example might be neighborhood services kind of thing, as an example. So yeah. Please.
At this phase, nothing is off the table. So everything, and you will be, as stakeholders on the Common Council, you will be a part of this process as well. So if you have ideas or have suggestions along the way of it would be great that city assets get to other neighborhoods, not just primarily downtown, that can be part of this consideration and planning process, and that input can be considered as we identify needs or other ideas going forward of the first is to evaluate what buildings really shouldn't be in, right? The first goal is what buildings should not be spent any more money on, and we're just spending bad after, and not getting good. And then from there, deliberating on, well, where would those services be located? What could they be? To your point, Alder McCarthy, what operations might make more sense together? What might make more sense out in the neighborhoods for a presence and for investment and to activate neighborhoods? So everything wide open. This is really the first step, something I think strategically the city has not done in their capital improvements plan to date. The FCA was an excellent start to do the inventory. And now this instructs us to do a more strategic look at the capital improvement investments that you want to make in the decades to come.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Alderman McCarthy? Or Alder Ross, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my question is, does this include the transfer station and possible new complex or building that was thought about for DPW?
So that is a separate contract that you already approved. So the transfer station process is moving forward. The DPW campus study is moving forward, but we're lucky, and I think Mr. Jenkins probably, if you want to, he wants to elaborate, the fact that they're doing the DPW campus, it is not being done in a tunnel or a silo. So their findings on the DPW, they have specific, I think, efficiencies that have opportunities, but as this study proceeds, they will know how it plugs into this overall study as well. So I think they're all very complementary, and they would not come back to us without enveloping both proposals into one recommendation. Jim, I'll defer to you if you want to add.
Yeah, that's correct. That's a good summary of it all. That's already kind of been being that's in the works already, the DPW campus. But what this is really about is really the remaining 70 buildings that are going to be evaluated and kind of, as Paul said, we're drilling down a further process from the facility condition assessment and really taking a snapshot look and going through a workshop. And let's identify really the needs of the city going forward in utilizing as a backdrop the facility condition assessment we already did, and now taking that step forward and really kind of program out this particular CIP process and determine what's the best route going forward on all these other buildings. If I were to take a step back and go to the DPW campus study, it's kind of an interesting scenario here. Evaluating the buildings that are in place and going through a space needs study to determine what a new campus might look like, as well as taking a look at those existing properties on the DPW campus and maybe give it another real estate component to it as far as a future use of those properties if the space needs study promotes a new campus somewhere else. So that's a snapshot on the DPW campus project. Similarly here, this is kind of, we want to take this as an initial step to just kind of evaluate some of these, again, these 70 properties, facilities, and see if there's another logical use or how we should go about, repair or retirement or whatever. But we're going to go through a very good program management process that will help identify that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Any further question, Alder Ross?
Yeah, I do have one more.
ahead.
In regards to how deep this will go into like the policies and procedures of each department, because I imagine if we restructure certain buildings, their operations might inherently change or become more efficient. Is there an intent to look at each one of these processes or these departments or these operations that are held in each of these facilities and possibly optimize each one of them as well?
So I think the opportunity exists. I mean, I think what I think this will avail our departments, and it will be incumbent upon us to encourage them to think about it in that way. But obviously the buildings that they have been operating in for decades and decades and decades, their programming may have changed, their needs may have changed over the year. We may have done some modifications along the way, but do they need everything that they have right now in terms of how their business operations and their customer relation, have they changed over time? That we need to think about it in a different way. I don't see vast changes to operations through this process, but I do see it as an opportunity through these dialogues and workshops and thinking about what their needs are and what their size requirements are. I mean, I will tell you, we've grown, and there's some tight space considerations out there. That's something we're evaluating as well in certain facilities. But really, the long-term goal of this is to instruct us as to which assets we have that we want to keep because they're in great shape or they make sense or they have, I won't say sentimental value, but they have they have value to the city that is being that we are willing to commit resources to. That maybe a cold hard study would say don't replace the HVAC, move the building, but we may say no, we like the location, it's an investment, this is something, it has a greater purpose than just the building, it has a different need. That's for policymakers to make. This study is to give you the information to make those instructive decisions.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any further questions, Alder Ross?
No, thank you.
Any further questions from other committee members? If not, Mr. Prislow.
Just one last thing, if just to throw some context to all this. If you recall, over 10 years, our facilities condition assessment has $45 million in capital improvement so that are needed over the next 10 years on city buildings. That's pretty unrealistic. So this study will help kind of pare that down and help us understand what's good and what's bad. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reinhold and Mr. Jenks, is it?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve item 0216-22. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you again, gentlemen. The next item is 0199-22, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Commissioner of Public Works, granted an easement to We Energies for 1900 Kentucky Street to install new electric facility. Recommendation that the easement for 1900 Kentucky Street be approved. Mr. Pritzloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have Transit Manager Trevor Young here. This will be integral to his process of bringing electrical into that facility. Mr. Young.
Thank you, Mr. Pritzloff. Thank you, Madam Chair, Committee. We are submitting the proposed We Energies easement related to the request for electrical bus charging equipment installation. In order to extend utility service to this location, We Energies will need to install new equipment facilities on the property. Prior to performing this work, they must obtain an easement, which will cover the installation and maintenance of the equipment. There is no fiscal obligation for the city. If the committee agrees, the appropriate action would be to approve the easement and authorize the mayor to sign an easement agreement. This relates to the electrification of our bus fleet. 25% of the city's fleet will be all electric and going to revenue service at the end of the month. And so this is a part of the process that would allow We Energies to install that type of equipment.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Kristoff, did you have anything additional to add?
I do not have anything additional to add. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any questions from committee members? Alder McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Transit Director Young. Is any consideration given to using this for electrification of, or for recharging electrified for other transportation, whether it be public works kind of vehicles or anything else, or just specifically focused on transit at this point?
Great question, Alder McCarthy. This specifically is for the transit fleet. So this would aid in installing a 1.2 megawatt charger just outside the transit garage, which would then have 10 basically portals that would allow to plug into our buses. We've got 9 Proterra electric buses that are in the garage now, and currently they're being charged by 2 temporary 60 kilowatt chargers. Those 60 kilowatt chargers can only do so much, which is why we want to have this larger system so that when we grow the size of the fleet, that we'll be prepared for that. But thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Any further? Alder Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So is this going to be then the primary or only location that we charge the buses at? Will we be looking at, let's say, maybe a charging station at the bus station, perhaps? Or is this going to be where we're set for all of our charging?
Alder Rouse, that is an excellent question. So in many other communities, what you'll see is en route charging. At the intermodal station, we do have extended layovers so that folks can catch connections so that they can go from one route to the next. Long term, that is a potential to have that type of infrastructure available at the transit depot. But right now, this is the home base for where our buses will be charged overnight. We're also considering utility costs, and overnight charging is cheaper than charging during the day. And so that's why this location has been chosen in the garage as the primary place for this type of energy.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from committee members? Any additional, Mr. Priscilla?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nothing out of the ordinary with this quick request from We Energies. Totally support Transit Manager Young's efforts in this regard, and we wish him the best of luck electrifying his fleet. So that's all I have.
Okay, if no further questions from committee members, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
This is Alder Lemke, second.
Motion by Alder Santiago, second by Alder Lemke to approve item 0199-22. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Our next item is 02. Excuse me, our next item is 020222, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting bid results for contract 2022 city resurfacing. Recommendation that the resurfacing contract be awarded to A.W. Oaks and Son, Inc. in the amount of $1,289,288.50 plus an alternate bid of $523,985.70 for a total bid of $1,813,274.20. They being the lowest responsive bidder. Fiscal note, funding is available in the following objects: sanitary sewers, stone sewers, replacement CNG, sidewalk replacement, crosswalk ramps, paving asphalt, pavement SSM, and paving SMU. Mr. Pritzlaff or Mr. Mulligan? Mr. Pritzlaff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, Wednesday, April 6th, we opened bids for contract 2022 city resurfacing, and we are submitting those results for your approval. We had 2 contractors bid on the project, A.W. Oaks and Sons and Payne and Dolan. And as it turns out, AW Oaks and Sons was the low bidder, as shown in the total bid of $1,813,274.20. We estimated the project at $1.92 million and with alternate and base bid, and this is a Racine Works project. It is recommended that the committee awards the project to AW Oaks at their base bid of $1,289,288.50 plus alternate bid one of $523,985.70 for a total of $1,813,274.20. And the accounts are as outlined in the memo. Questions?
Any questions for staff? Alder Ross.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Can you just explain what an alternate bid is for me?
So an alternate bid in this case, we weren't sure what kind of prices we were going to get because of, we've got fuel prices are fairly high right now. So not knowing that, we took the project and we divided it so that just in case those prices came up big, we always had the opportunity to decline an alternate bid and keep that project within a certain budget. So in this case, that's what we did. We divided it. We created an alternate bid for one portion of the job. And as it turns out, we got pretty good prices anyway. So we're able to award the whole thing. And on other projects, you might have an alternate bid just to see what kind of prices you might get. And if you want to get some extra work done, something of that nature. We've done alternate bids on roof jobs before where, we might want to redo a parapet wall, but we're not sure if we got the budget to do it. So we throw that in as an alternate bid, see what the contractors bid on, and see where those prices come in. That's generally what an alternate bid is used for.
Thank you.
I'll add a little on Ron's comment. Yeah, like Ron was saying earlier this year, out of fear for rising gas prices, material logistics of getting materials delivered to the city. You'll see that most of the engineering projects that we went out to bid all have an alternate on them to basically, so we had the option of adjusting to make sure that we didn't exceed our budget limits and what we had budgeted for the CIP. But as we're finding out, as our projects have bid, and we have a couple more to go, that material prices really haven't increased that much because of economics this year. So we're doing well.
Thank you. Alder McCarthy.
Sure. So I think what you're saying is material prices have not changed materially then. That's what I think you're saying.
Yes.
Just to elaborate a little bit more on the alternate bid. Was that doing less in the entire area, or is that some area, some streets that you just wouldn't do if the prices ended up being too high?
Let me, we'll both do it. I'll start though. For the roadway projects, most of the materials that we are looking at are, obviously our gravel, which goes into, is an ingredient of concrete. And, everything is produced locally. So we're not coming from China to get gravel. So our prices have pretty much remained, just slightly higher than 2021 prices, which is a normal inflation amount.
So what I would add, Alder McCarthy, is that we originally had the alternate bid as one bid. So the whole construction project was what it was. But we decided to take a chunk of it out as an alternate bid. Does that make sense? It wasn't scheduled for like next year or the following.
What I'm really asking, what does that chunk consist of? Was that several streets that you would not have done? Were the bids too high? Or was that doing less on the entire range of streets?
For this particular resurfacing project, we have 8 locations. And there was 3 streets that were clustered up by the Waterwood School that we had as an alternate bid. So we were taking that neighborhood out of the project. But then the rest of it got bid that, as the base bid.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Any further questions from committee members? Thank you, gentlemen. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Second,
Motion and second to approve item 0202-22. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. Our next item is 0203-22. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting bid results on contract 202-2028, accessible streets and alleys. Recommendation that the contract be awarded to Lalonde Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $1,774,538.42, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Fiscal note, funding is available in the following objects as listed. Mr. Pritzlaff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, we have another project that was bid on April 6th, last week, Wednesday. The Department of Public Works received those bids and submits them for your approval. Excuse me. And in this case, for contract 2022-028, accessible streets and alleys. We had three bidders on this one, Lalonde, A.W. Oaks and Son, and Milwaukee General Construction. They, the low bidder was Lalonde Contractors Incorporated at $1,774,538.42. We had a project estimated at $1.99 million, and it is a Racine Works contract. So we recommend awarding to Lalonde Contractors at their base bid of $1,774,538.42 with the org obs and accounts as shown on the memo.
Thank you, Mr. Kristoff. Alder McCarthy.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. Excellent job on the bidding here. So it came in 10% below our estimate. Now, since these are accessible projects, we had set rates late last year for these projects. Will the rates that people are assessed reflect that this is coming in 10% lower than anticipated at budget time?
The accessible rates are set, and they are the maximum amount that the residents on that street will be assessed. It can be less, but it cannot be more. So as you know, as you said, the rates were approved last year. They will not change. I think our estimate was, I didn't do the estimate myself. I believe the estimate was that early this year, in the fear that material rates were going to be much higher.
So I think I'm hearing that people can expect to see lower for the actual assessment than the rates that were approved last year in general. Do I hear that right? Or
Well, yeah, each road is assessed when it's completed. You know, sometimes you'll have some projects or some locations in that project that are maxed out, and others, you know, a block away are not. So it depends on the road project and what happens, but and the quantities that are measured out when the project is completed.
all right, thank you.
Any further questions, Alder McCarthy? Any questions from other committee members? Mr. Pritzlaff, did you have comment?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to have one more thing. Whoever makes a motion on this, I would ask that you make an amended motion. In the actual item itself that's on the agenda, the last two items and the account numbers just need to be changed. So in the case of the second to last, where it says $78,050 there, we need to change that to 22640-57560. And in the last item where it says $37,492.91, We need to change that to 40104-57500. So I just would request that you amend your motion when you make it to include that. Thank you so much.
This is Alder Lemke. I would make a motion to approve the item with the changes that he discussed.
Second.
Is there a second?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Been motion and second to approve item 0203-22 with the amendment as suggested by Mr. Fritzloff, Assistant Commissioner Fritzloff. If there are no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. Our next item is 0238-22. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting bid results for contract 2022041, 2022 concrete reconstruction 2. Recommendation that concrete reconstruction 2 be awarded to Milwaukee General Construction in the amount of $492,128.42, plus an alternate bid of $346,774.30, for a total bid amount of $838,902.72. They being the lowest responsive bidder. Fiscal note funding is available in the following port opt as listed. Commissioner Fritzloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We took bids on this project last week on April 5th on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. And we've gotten 3 bids, Milwaukee General, AW Oak Salon. Milwaukee General was the low bid. The low bid is listed in the agenda. I'm not going to reread it. The estimated amount for this particular project was $850,000. That's a base bid plus the alternate. And once again, we have a Racine Works program. So we recommend that that the committee award to Milwaukee General in the amount of $838,902.72. And the account numbers would be as listed in the memo.
Alder McCarthy.
Thanks. Sorry to be a pain, guys. Just to be sure I understand, this seems to be, I'm trying to figure out the difference in the contracts. This one says reconstruction, the other one said resurfacing. I assume that is exactly what it says. This is being completely ripped up and reconstructed from the ground up as opposed to just covering off a new surface on there, I assume. Is that correct?
Yes, technically, we had 4 streets that were reconstructed in concrete, other than the accessible streets, which are also a reconstruct. We had the 9th Street and Racine Street right by our operations campus. That was separated into a different contract. This project is 17th Street from Racine to something east of Racine. And then the little curve on top of the hill at Kinsey. So right up from where they're replacing the bridge, there's an asphalt section that basically it's probably about, I think, a little over 1,000 feet long that completes that curve. And that's where the 2 sites that we're reconstructing.
Just walked my dog there before this meeting. I know exactly what you mean.
Any further questions, Alder McCarty?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Ross, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I noticed that we're having 3 different companies operating these 3 different operations. Is this where we usually see that hiccup where we're doing underground work, but then the repaving doesn't happen 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and they have to redo it? As opposed to having these projects align where if they're doing underground work, they can also have the repaving at the same time.
if I'm understanding your question correctly, this, of the two locations of this, what usually happens is when we determine which roads we're going to reconstruct every year, we notify the utilities of that upcoming construction, and they go out and they replace their facilities if they, so desire, to be ahead of us, so we don't have to rip up a new road. In particular, the part that I mentioned on Kinsey, we are actually getting the water utility to, this is on the route of that big 42-inch water main that they're trying to get all the way across the city. They're going to change order the water main on that curve. There's about 200 feet of water main that they have to put in prior to our road construction. And they'll be doing that sometime in June, and then we'll reconstruct the road so we're not tearing it up again. Did that answer your question, Alder Rouse?
Yep, I always wondered what that process was. I noticed that come through, tear it up, and then patch it in, and then a couple months later, repaint the whole road.
The DOT projects, the ones that are active right now, like Gould and Durand Avenue, and the West 6th Street Bridge right down the hill from the Kinsey curve, those always happen where the utilities have like the year before to reconstruct their facility, and then the DOT project happens the following year, because those projects are like 9-month in nature type of road constructions, whereas ours are a little quicker. Sometimes we do have larger projects, but we try to have ours, in a process where we design, decide, design, and construct all in a year time, basically.
Well, thank you. I appreciate everyone's patience and willingness to explain to me today.
No problem.
Any further questions from committee members? If not, Mr. President,
Madam Chair.
I will entertain a motion for item 0238-22.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been motion and second to approve item 0238-22. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. Our next item is 0215-22. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the city engineer, submitting change order number 1 to contract 202-00027-2020 sanitary and storm sewer CIPP lining Musson Brothers Inc. contractor. Staff recommend change orders number 1 to contract 2022 sanitary and storm sewer CIPP lining Musson Brothers Inc. Contractors be approved in the deduct amount of $167,849.37. Fiscal note funding for this change order is credited in the following objects: sanitary sewer maintenance and manhole fund. Engineer Mulliner.
As the chair already mentioned, we are submitting this change order for a deduct amount of $167,849.37. Basically, in a nutshell, this is the lining project from last year. What happened that we had such a large deduct was a lot of the work, not all, but a lot of the work on this project happened on Washington Avenue. And they did it with, in conjunction with the DOT road construction. So they didn't have pavement removal and a lot of excavation, which is a lot of extra cost to a lot of these, the lining that they did for laterals on that stretch of roadway. Alderman McCarthy, if you have a question.
Were you finished?
I am finished.
Okay, Alderman McCarthy.
Of course, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
So I know on this one, I don't usually pay that much attention to the accounting, but the deduct is 167, but we've used this opportunity to sort of flip around which accounts this is coming out of here. I notice it's minus 460 for sewer maintenance and plus 292 for manhole fund.
Yeah. This being the only change order for the entire project, this is our rectifying change order. So this picks up all the different items. You know, we weren't just on Washington Avenue, we were on several different locations. We were ahead of construction on Gould. We were also ahead of construction on Durand Avenue. So we were doing a lot of sewer work, you know, a lot of different locations with this project. Not to mention, not even roadway associated locations. And we just, you know, things change. The funding, obviously we had a you know, almost $300,000 increase for some items that, you know, just balance out. Actually, I think I have
Gotcha. All right, and that, I don't remember because there's a lot of these today. Is there also, if this is a rectifying change order, does that mean we have a final payment on this one somewhere on the agenda as well?
I believe we are waiting for them to clear Racine Works program.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman McCarthy. Any further questions from committee members? If not, I will entertain a motion to not have to pay $167,000.
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
It's been motioned and second to approve item 0215-22 for the deduct amount of $167,849.37. If there are no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Our next item is 0217-22. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the city engineer, submitting change order number 1 to contract 2021002, Taylor Avenue reconstruction, A.W. Oaks and Son contractor. Staff recommends that change order number 1 to contract 2021002, Taylor Avenue reconstruction, A.W. Oaks and Son contract be approved in the amount of $30,057.34. Fiscal note funding for this change order is available in the following port objects: DPW paving, storm sewer, and sanitary sewer. Engineer Molitor.
As Madam Chair stated, we are submitting change order number 1 for the above mentioned contract or 2021-002, the Taylor Avenue reconstruct in the contract amount of $30,057.34. The original contract was approved in the amount of $944,049.60 under resolution number 0316-21 of May 4th of last year. This change order brings the final contract amount to $974,106.94 and is designated in the memo in the organ ops there. And this also is a rectifying change order.
Alderman McCarthy.
Not a question this time, just looking at the detail here, and I love this. Unexpected railroad track removal. That's on there right now. That's a great part about living in an old city like this. Oh, the railroad track here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alder Ross.
Yeah, I had one question and I'm looking at line 30, take down and reset poles. And that's $1,900. Now I remember at a time I had a constituent telling me that the lights were out. Are we being double charged for a mistake that they made, or is that just how the process works? Are we our cost no matter
That is
what?
a particular item that obviously you've been on Taylor Avenue since, well, on West Boulevard more, since this project has completed. The lighting ran down West Boulevard and down Taylor, with the reroute of West Boulevard, so it comes in at a 90 degrees, make it a safer intersection. There was several lights that were basically, removed and relocated to a different location. That is the item that took care of that.
That makes sense then. Thank you.
Any additional question? Alderman McCarthy.
Way
Your
too
hand
late.
is- Oh,
Yeah, way too late at this point, I know, but was there a reason we didn't put a roundabout in at Weston Taylor for the odd geometries there?
It was considered, it was definitely considered during the DOT project, and was voted against, I guess, by the DOT forces. We also considered putting in a roundabout there, but the problem was we didn't have the peninsula where the, what is that, the liquor store or whatever.
Mhm.
We didn't have that right away. We needed a good chunk of it, and, we don't have in our budget to purchase right away and relocate. Well, I don't think we would have to relocate a business, but we would have needed real estate from that peninsula to put in a roundabout. But that would have been, if we could have and had it in the budget, that would have been a very nice place for a roundabout, in my opinion.
Yeah, we don't want to touch the beer stores either.
Any further questions from committee members? Thank you, gentlemen. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there a second?
I will second. Sorry, I'm looking for the unmute there.
Okay, it has been motioned and second to approve item 0217-22. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Did I skip a second?
No, I think someone must have froze up or something.
Oh. Okay. We have an ayes. The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. It was a little freeze there, just in case you're wondering. We had a glitch. Our next item is 0218-22, communications sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works to submit the final payment for contract 202-1002, Taylor Avenue Reconstruction, A.W. Oaks and Son, Inc. Recommendation that payment, the approved contract for Taylor Avenue reconstruction be accepted and final payment authorized for total contract amount of $974,106.94. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note, contract 202-1002 was authorized under resolution number 0316-21 dated May 4th, 2021. Mr. Mullinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. As pretty much already been stated, we are submitting a final payment for Taylor Avenue reconstruction, contract number 2021-002. Pretty much all the information in this paragraph has already been stated. This is the final pay for the change order that was just approved. If there's any further questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Move to approve, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman McCarthy. Is
Second.
there a second? It has been motioned and second to approve item 0218-22, final payment for A.W. Oaks and Son. See,
Can I just,
sure.
they, surprisingly enough, have already passed their Receipt Works program, so, you gotta bless the local contractors.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you for that addition. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes. Our next item is 0221-22, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works to submit final payment for contract 202-1028, roof replacement, safety building FJA Christensen Roofing Company, Inc. contractor. Recommendation that the work completed by FJA Christensen Roofing Company for the safety building be accepted and final payment authorized for a total contract of $528,385. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note, contract 2021028 was authorized under resolution number 0353-21 dated May 18, 2021. Mr. Prisloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. FJA Christensen Roofing Company is requesting final payment for the safety building roof project. It was completed for a total contract amount as stated previously. If you recall, there was a deduct change order on this either a meeting or two ago for a negative $19,800. And so it took the total bid amount of $548,185 and reduced that to $528,385.00. We recommend approval. Thank you.
Any questions from committee members? If
Move to approve.
Alder Santiago to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Alderman McCarthy.
Alder McCarthy, second. If there are no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposes, the motion passes. Our next item is 0219-22. Communication sponsored by Alder Horton, requesting a preliminary resolution for paving the alley bounded by Charles Street, 8th Avenue, South Street, and Southland Drive be paved with Portland cement concrete. Recommendation that the preliminary resolution be introduced for paving the alleys bound by Charles Street, 8th Avenue, South Street, and Shoreland Drive. Physical note, these are accessible alley projects and therefore all costs will be paid by the abutting property owners.
We approve.
Calendar.
This is Melissa, second.
Did you want to say anything?
Not really. You cover most of it. These are just preliminary resolutions. The only thing I gotta add, I guess, is that these will be, both this item and the next item will be on next year's, public hearings. They will not, there's absolutely no way we can get them through, the public hearing process for this year and construct next year. So they'll be public hearing next year and constructed in 2024.
Any questions? If not, we have a motion and second on the floor. If there are no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. Our final item is 0220-22. Communication sponsored by Alder Tate II, requesting a preliminary resolution for paving the alley bounded by 12th Street, 13th Street, Memorial Drive, and Terrence Place be paved with cement concrete. Recommendations that a preliminary resolution be introduced for paving the alley bound by 12th Street, 13th Street, Memorial Drive, and Terrence Place. Physical note, these are accessible alley projects and therefore all costs will be paid by abutting property owners. Engineer Mollinger.
Same as the item before, same schedule, everything else. If the committee agrees, appropriate action will be approved of preliminary resolution, start assessment process for public hearing and for the street or the alley listed above.
We have, thank you. We have Alder Tate. Did you wish to speak to this item since you are the originator?
I had no particular comments. I am curious though, for the city engineer and public works department to speak to, since these will be next year, is there potential possibility to allot the prices that will be discussed for this year's public hearing potentially to these two projects since they're being identified at least for this year?
I would assume no, I mean, the prices can't be guaranteed. We usually, at the end of every construction season, we reassess, accessible, cost for, alleys, roadway widths, everything else. They will all be, they usually don't increase that much. But they do increase. So it will definitely be, next year's, approved assessment rates.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from committee members? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman McCarty, second by Alder Santiago to approve item 0220-22. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposes? The motion passes. And that concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And we are adjourned.
All right.
Have a good
Thanks
evening.
all.
Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
There's one thing I have to talk to you about it. I don't want to waste your time in the evening talking about it.